Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday, and you know what?
Not Thursday.
It is not Thursday. It is Tuesday. That's Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday, and that's Update Day. So we're going back to a classic Tuesday update, back from Modern Warfare. I don't think this is going to stay. I think it's literally just for this update that they're doing on Tuesday. I know, kind of weird. But as far as this goes, this Tuesday is the Cold War update, and then tomorrow is the mid-season Warzone update. And then moving forward, I believe it's just going back to Thursdays for both. I don't know why they switched it up this week, but that's what they decided to do. So today you get the 1.14 update for Black Ops Cold War, which is the mid-season or the Season 2 Reloaded update. In this, we got massive weapon balancing, one of the biggest weapon balancing, I think it is the biggest weapon balancing that we have had for Black Ops Cold War, and for the first time in like 3 months, I think. On top of this, we have some new playlists, new maps, and everything that you normally get for your Reloaded updates, including some new updates for zombies as well. In this video, we're going to go over all of that, discuss everything that is new and all of the big changes. So we got a lot to talk about. So let's dive into it. So we're going to start out with the playlists for multiplayer. So we have some new maps. We have some new modes here, starting off with Miami Strike 24/7. So this is the new and improved Miami. It's called Miami Strike. It is smaller, and it also takes place during the day. To be frank with you, it is way better than the original map. I despise the original map, probably my least favorite map in the game, and this is simply a lot better, and in my opinion, they should just get rid of the original one. I know some people do like it, and it does work for game modes like Search and Destroy, but yeah, this one is much better, and there is a 24/7 playlist for it right now. On top of this, it says Prop Hunt is new. Essentially, what they are talking about when they say new here is that there are new maps and new props, and that's basically it. After this, we have Fire Team Hardpoint Golova. So a couple of new things there. First of all, Golova is a new map. It was already in Outbreak if you haven't played it already. But the other new thing is the new mode called Hardpoint. So basically, with your fire team, you have to go and capture individual objectives and stay on them, just like Hardpoint, but it's a smaller team, more people. This is, in my opinion, probably the best fire team mode to date. But yeah, that's just my opinion. After this, we have Snipers Only Mosh Pit once again, Nuketown 24/7 once again, and Gunfight once again. The thing with Gunfight, though, is there is a new map called Mansion. This is just another gunfight map. And as far as this map goes, I think it's actually slightly too big for 2v2 gunfight. There's just a lot more to it, a bigger inside area and a small outdoors area. But what I will say is that later this season, they are adding gunfight tournaments in. And of course, Mansion will be one of the maps. And that is personally when I'll be playing gunfight a little bit more. After this, we have Fire Team Mosh Pit, Face Off, and then you get into your bots and normal things like that. One thing to mention is when we go to the store, currently the store has not updated yet for the Season 2 Reloaded. Once they do, Wolf is going to be added, and you get access to his finishing move, which is his puppy as well, which, as you guys know, I love the puppy finishing moves, so I can't wait for that. And that should happen probably later today at some point, probably at the normal update time around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as far as weapon balancing goes, this is probably the biggest part of this video. I'm going to go over all of them so that you know all of them. If you're not interested in it, there is timestamps, or if this is the only thing that you're interested in the video, welcome. So starting out with assault rifles, the first thing that they did was to all assault rifles. So they did a complete tuning pass on muzzle and underbarrel attachments that affect recoil on assault rifles. This is totally going to change the recoil on assault rifles, and I'm really curious whether this is also going to affect Warzone. Normally they say that it is not, but we've seen it happen in the past. But just know for this specific video, this is mainly for Black Ops Cold War. Then getting into the specific weapons, we first of all have the Krig 6. So with this, we have improvement visibility while firing in aim down sight. So I'm guessing less muzzle flash. Not 100% sure on that, but that's what they say at least. After this, complete tuning pass on weapon accuracy, weapon movement, and visual clarity while firing with any optic attachment. So I'm assuming that's just going to make it more accurate, which is pretty crazy because I thought the accuracy was already pretty good. And addressed instances of the weapon feeling floaty when firing for prolonged amount of time. I've never experienced that, but I guess if you're a Krig 6 user, that's a good thing. The next weapon is the FFAR. This one, they increased the ballistic speed by 12.8%, and I believe that is specifically talking about the bullet velocity, so your bullets are going to hit a little bit faster. It should feel a little bit more accurate. The next one I actually think is one of the bigger ones. They increased the maximum damage range for the Groza by 40%. This is going to make this gun a lot better in Black Ops Cold War, extending that range and just making it better overall. over a larger area. So definitely try this one out after the patch. Moving on to the SMGs, once again, they did the same thing with the complete tuning pass for muzzle and underbarrel attachments for specifically recoils. At this point, we don't know whether it's a buff or a nerf. We're going to have to do some testing, but just know that those attachments have been changed. So the first SMG that we have is the Milano, and this one has the biggest buff out of any of them. It has increased mid-range damage by 10% and mid-range range by 33%. Also increased sprint out speed by 14.2%, increased raise speed by 11%, and increase aim down sights in speed as well. So that is a big buff all around on the Milano. It should perform a lot better now. After this, we have the KSP-45, which increased the ballistic speed, so in other words, your bullet velocity by 32.5%, that's quite a bit, and reduced the burst delay by 20%. So essentially what that does is increase the rate of fire, and that is always going to make your weapon better. After this, we have the AK-74U, one of the few weapons to actually get nerfed. This one has a reduced accuracy with prolonged firing. They don't say by how much, but I'm assuming it's just going to have more recoil the longer you shoot, and also reduce muzzle velocity by 23.4%. In other words, a worse bullet velocity, which is a big deal. So in my opinion, the biggest nerf goes to the LC10 by quite a long shot. This one has the reduced max damage range by 41%. That's your most important damage range, and the thing that made this weapon good was its range. On top of this, they slightly reduced the mid-range damage as well. So in other words, up close, your up close range is shorter, and once you get to mid-range, you deal less damage. I didn't think the LC10 was that good, but apparently they did. It got a really big nerf. After this, the MAC-10, essentially what they did is add a little bit more horizontal recoil for this one. And as far as this goes, again, believe this is not in Warzone. We'll have to wait till tomorrow to see what they changed in there. But yeah, it's going to make this gun a little bit worse, not much. Next, we have the LMG. They only touched one LMG, and they call it the Light Machine Gun Alpha, but they reduced its maximum damage range by 25%, so a pretty big nerf to the range there. After this, sniper rifles, a very minor buff. They disabled the glint effect when someone is using a sniper rifle with iron sights equipped. This should have been like this in the first place, but now it works properly. Moving on to pistols, first of all, the 1911 got increased aim down sight speed by 11%, so a very minor buff there. Next up, we got the Magnum. This one has slightly decreased hipfire accuracy. Dual wield specifically, the bullet trajectories are now more varied when firing both guns simultaneously. And finally, they redesigned the 47-inch takedown barrel attachment into a tight snub barrel. This attachment now adds damage to both enemies and vehicles. So nothing too crazy there, but all in all, it sounds like it actually got a nerf because you're going to have worse hipfire accuracy. So kind of strange, but that's one that they did focus on. And then the final weapon, and probably one of the bigger buffs, is they slightly increased the blast radius of the RPG-7, and they greatly increased the length of the straight rocket flight path for the RPG-7, making it easier to shoot down score streaks with it. If you have not gone for your rocket challenges for weapons yet, this is going to help you greatly. If you already have, I apologize. I know you're suffering. So that's it. That's all the weapon balancing. And as far as the weapons go, I think the biggest nerf goes to the LC10. That had a huge nerf. The biggest buff is probably the Milano. So interesting to see how that's going to play out with how good the weapons are as a whole. And I'm interested to hear what you think down in the comments. Now, on top of all of this stuff, there's a bunch of bug fixes and map specific stuff, like for example, moving hardpoint locations. I'm not going to go in depth with all of that just because I find it rather boring. But if you want those specific details, the bug fixes, things along those lines, all of the patch notes are linked down in the description and you can check them out there. So next up we have zombies, and as far as Outbreak goes, there has been a new map added to Outbreak, which is Sanatorium. They made Sanatorium at night, so you can kind of go on the map at night. There's also a new objective there as well, which we talked about in yesterday's video, so we're not going to go too much further into that. The other thing with Onslaught is they have added a couple of new things, so mainly new item drops, including level 2 and level 3 armor and bronze, silver, and gold chalices that can actually be used to pack-a-punch your weapons and make going through the progression of an Outbreak game that much faster, which I really, really like. I think that's a great addition. On top of this, in Firebase Z and D Machine, first of all, they have added a ton of bug fixes, as I said before, and if you want to read through those patch notes will be down in the description. Finally, in Dead Ops Arcade, they've added in a new map called Silverback Slideways, and basically what this is a 2D platformer that is built into Dead Ops Arcade, and it's a pretty cool thing. I just wish there was like a dedicated mode out for it right now, because as far as I can see, it's not currently there if it was planning on being that, and that's kind of what I thought it was going to be. So we'll have to wait and see for that. But as of right now, the other big upgrade for Dead Ops Arcade is you can now level up your character and your battle pass by playing this mode. But those are just zombies upgrades. The biggest thing and the biggest focus is definitely on Outbreak. So ladies and gentlemen, that is everything in the 1.14, aka the mid-season update, aka season 2 reloaded. We do have the Warzone update coming tomorrow night, so stay tuned for that. I will have you updated on that as soon as it comes out. The other big thing about this update is it actually seems as though they're adding more throughout the rest of the season, and I covered that in yesterday's video, going everything coming throughout the rest of the season 2 reloaded, which includes like a new weapon, another new character, and gunfight tournament. So if you want to check that out, it'll be linked down in the description and at the end of the video. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it's always appreciated if you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, like what you see, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Stay up to date on all my videos, all of that great jazz. Let me know what you think of the update down in the comments, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this